Okay, now I want to make a video on graphing. So, sorry about that, got a drink of water. So, I'm going to use the coordinate system, and I'm going to use the quadrantal angles, or the axis angles, if you want to call them that. For sine, sine is y over r. So at 0 degrees, sine would be 0 over 1, which is 0. So you start at 0. Then at 1, or 90 degrees, it's 1 over 1, because r is always 1, so it'd go to 1. Then 180 is the point negative 1, 0, so y is 0, r is 0. 270, sine is negative 1 at 270, because y is negative 1 and r is always 1. Then back at 360 where we started, sine would be 0 again. Then, if I pick the points 30, 45, and 60, the sine you should have memorized of 30 is a half. At 45, it's square root of 2 over 2, which is about 0.7. At 60, it's square root of 3 over 2. Excuse me. Now, in the second quadrant, 90 to 180 degrees, sine is still positive. But if you use a reference angle, 150 way over here before 180 would be reference angle of 30, which is a half. So it comes back down. Then 180 to 270 is the third quadrant. Sine is negative. Reference angle of 30, which is 210, would be negative a half. And then it continues to negative square root of 3 over 2. Then we get back to, and I made this a little bit too big. It should be the same size as this one. Now cosine is x over r. It starts at 0 degrees with 1. So we would start at 1. Then at 90 degrees, cosine is 0 because its x is 0. 0 over 1 is 0. Then at 180, cosine's negative 1. At 270, cosine, let's see, it's back at 0 because cosine is x over r. X is 0. At 360, we're back at 1. Now again, if you break it up, cosine of 30 is about 0.9. 45 is about square root of 2 over 2 is about 0.7. And then square root of, 60 degrees, cosine's a half. Then the second quadrant, 90 to 80, cosine's negative. And you can use the angles to get the reference angles again. 120 would be a reference angle of 30. Third quadrant, cosine's still negative. And then back to the beginning, fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. Those are the, cosine is positive 1 here, and it's negative, it's 0 here, negative 1 here, 0, 1. So it kind of looks like a jump rope. You need to memorize those two graphs. It's really going to help you in the future. Okie dokie dokie okie. Have a good day.